21st Century Learning. To outline new dimensions of learning in the 21st century, please welcome to the stage co-founder of CryptoChicks, Natalia, Ameline, and CryptoChicks ambassador to the US and Bahamas, Rhonda D. Eldridge.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. We are the CryptoChicks, and we're here to talk about the 21st century learning. Are you ready? Technology is at the heart of all human development and progress. It accounts for much of the social and economical progress over the past couple of centuries. The advent of the steam engine in the 18th century started the first industrial revolution, which led to first automation in production and also had a very impactful social change as humans became more urbanized. The second industrial revolution saw the electricity and other scientific advancements, which led to the mass production. Third industrial revolution, in the middle of 1950s, we started to see the emergence of the computers and digital technology, which allowed for further automation and led to the industry disruption, such as banks, energy, and communication. We are now at the footsteps of the fourth huge economic and technological expansion, which is the fourth industrial revolution. The fourth industrial revolution could be described as a blurring of the lines between physical, digital, and biological. It's a fusion of the technologies such as AI, blockchain, visual reality, computation, and Internet of Things, and many, many other cool things that we as a humanity has been coming up with over the past several years. The fourth technological revolution paves the way for the great and amazing economical and social changes. And one thing that differentiates it from the previous revolutions is the speed of change where the changes occur. These changes will send ripple effects through all our societies. But one of the things that will be impactful in a very profound way is the disruption of skill.
And so when we talk about skills, we humans have just three. And those are, we have the physical skills, which we see being disrupted in warehousing, car manufacturing, among other things. We have the cognitive skills, the way we sort of look at things, solve problems. And that is being disrupted as well, in terms of machine learning and everything that we see in what I will call surveillance capitalism, where the data goes from what we create straight through to the predictive data. And then our social skills, which we know from social media, that those skills are being disrupted because we no longer have the face-to-face meeting. So these things are causing us disruption as humans, disruption in terms of our skills, and disruption in terms of being.
The education, no different from other aspects of our lives, is starting to feel the impacts of technological innovation. But is our educational approach ready for tomorrow? The writer and researcher on the topics of education, Maurice Kraft, noted that the word education has two Latin roots to it. One is educare, which means to train, to mold, and one is educere, which means to lead out. While those two words are very different, they all present in the word education, and they have been a source of the heated debates of what the education is meant to be. One side sees the role of education in passing the knowledge down the generation and preservation of the culture, while the other side believes that education is for equipping the younger generations with the tools to handle the challenges of tomorrow and solving the problems that has yet to come. In an era of the exponential technological expansion, our skills are and will be disrupted every day. And it sparked or ignited the revolution of reskilling. And that requires a very different approach to learning. Yet, our educational system stayed the same over the number of decades. And the question that we're asking ourselves, what the learning habits should look like. And it is my belief that we need more of a duty of leading out in our schools and in our personal learning. And then we will be really successful as individuals. So what are the key skills that will set us up for be successful in 21st century?
Well, I think that we need more of the social and emotional learning so that we learn how to adapt and also learn as humans, not as machines, because we will never be machines. Well, maybe by 2050. But there are 3 different areas covering about 60 competencies or proficiencies according to the World Economic Forum. The first one is that we need the foundational proficiencies, and those foundational things would be learning how to read and write, the scientific literacy, financial literacy, just to get by on a day-to-day basis. Then we have what I would call the competencies with respect to complex challenges, which would be the critical thinking, the problem solving, the collaboration, the creativity, the communication. And then third, and very important, is that we learn how to adapt to the change that's happening faster than our brains can adjust. Our brains were not made for this particular type of what I would call combinatorial innovation. It's happening faster than we're able to adjust, to learn, unlearn bad habits, unlearn habits from a linear educational system, and learn how to think more exponentially in what I would call an era of lifelong learning and a career of many careers.
In the meantime, our education already has been disrupted as we see more and more alternative educational approaches popping up over the last several years. The enrollment in the undergraduate degrees has been on decline. From 2010 to 2017, we saw between 6 and 9% decline in the enrollments, depending on the gender. In the same time, the various online learning options have been growing and extremely successful. By the end of 2017, we had over 15% of individuals enrolled exclusively into the online learning. That is something.
Yeah, so it's called MOOC. It sounds a little odd, but it's massive open online courses, which means that we can have access as humans to education and to learning 24/7 with a global reach. And any one of us can become a teacher. Any one of us can become someone who does a TED Talk or who does a podcast. So the 21st century is all about learning how to learn or accelerated learning. And that's the way, that's what we have to adjust to.
Speaking of MOOCs, since the inception about 8 years ago, the MOOCs touch more than 100 million people already. We have almost 1,000 universities offering over the 11,000 of online learning courses. And it's a booming business as well. We have largest provider of the MOOCs, Coursera, in 2018 recorded over $140 million in revenue.
And also one important thing about learning with respect to the 21st century is collaboration. We see more meetups. We see more people who are doing things that are out of the ordinary. They really hack the learning. They go in, they are very curious about something, and that's the third part of the proficiency in terms of the character that you build. You have to be curious. You have to have grit. You have to be adaptable. And once you have that mindset, that social and emotional, or how should I put it, more of the awareness of yourself and awareness of everyone around you, you have what is considered a mind that is a growth mindset. And that's something people don't like to talk about. They're like, well, I know this, but basically what you know before would make us useless in terms of our skills as humans.
Another skill which is frequently overlooked, in particular by those who is passionate about technology and loves to code, is the set of business skills. However, this is the skill that can make or break the success of your project. In an era when traditional employment is experiencing a crisis, more and more people are turning to entrepreneurship. And to be a successful entrepreneur, you must have some level of the business skill. So we all should take upon ourselves to learn some basic financial management, marketing, negotiation, communication skills. One of the things that we frequently highlight during our hackathons is the business side, or importance of the business side of the project. You can have a brilliant code, but if your idea is not sound from the business perspective, well, you're not going to be successful.
And the most important thing in this era is that we have to learn how, as I said earlier, to learn how to learn. And you need to be able to do that in the most expeditious way, which is you hack learning. And I know that sounds a little crazy, but we're hacking everything else. If you look at what we're doing 20% to get 80% of the maximum benefit. Because kids going to school today, when they graduate, the jobs that they're going to get haven't even been created. So it means they leave college with skills that are not relevant. So we have to hack learning.
So how do we learn faster? First of all, we need to remove the distractions, cut down on the noise. Noise is something that is unproductive, that you have no control over. If you look around, there are so many distractions out there. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have YouTube, we have media, we have news, we have fake news, we have family, we have friends. No wonder that a lot of us feel overwhelmed with everything that's going on. Some of this stuff is extremely important, but some of it just isn't. And the key is to learn to cut out this unproductive stuff out of our lives, to free space for things that make us happy, that make us grow as a person, and to make us better people, free up space for learning. There are some hacks that we can adopt in order to be successful on this path. For example, if you want to learn a new skill, want to read a book, read the summary of the book instead of the full book. Very frequently, you can gather 80% of the material from reading 20%. Declutter your email. How many emails do you get per day that you don't even look at and just delete, delete, delete? I know I do. One of the best advices that I've seen so far is to set up the filter for the email, which will redirect the email that has a word unsubscribe in it into your junk box. I'm going to give it a try, see how it works. We'll report back. Another thing. Sorry, just a quick finish, yeah. Another thing is, we need to keep focusing. Maintaining to-do list helps us to stay organized. Effective use of commute. Average American spends more than 26 minutes on a commute. It's 1 hour a day, almost. We can use it productively. We can read, we can listen to the podcast, we can meditate, we can learn a new language. The possibilities are just endless. And last but not least, sleep on it. In order for brain to function efficiently, the studies show again and again that we need between 8 and 9 hours of sleep. And let's not ignore that.
And I think the key thing we're trying to get across is that you have to invest time in your formal education because education is changing. So you have to change in order to embrace the possibilities for your future. And also, and speaking with some of the larger universities over the last few years, they are offering courses that we never saw before. The top schools, the Ivy League schools, are offering certification in blockchain or certification in AI or certification in something else. And that's because they see that it's changing. and we have to change with it. The other thing is habit loops. We got so used to the system, sitting in the classroom, sending our kids off. Everything is evolving or revolving around the education system. That's changing. So the habit loop is that we have to change the reward of education. Go and understand what triggered that in the first place in our parents and change that habit loop so our brains are able to shift and consider possibilities, consider things in an exponential way so that we are able to learn faster.
Maybe some of you aren't into futurism, but for some of you who are, one of the renowned futurists and also the chief engineer in Google, Ray Kurzweil, estimates that by 2029, the computer level of intelligence will achieve that of human, which means computers will be equally intelligent as us, and we will be able to use computers in our brain and to connect to the cloud and expand exponentially our knowledge and grow exponentially who we are. He also predicts that by 2030, we will be at the stage where the chip will be created that we will be able to implant in our brain, and it will help us with memory and more efficient processes. Something to look forward to for some of us anyway.
And finally, how do we quiet the mind? How do we really put our mind, our body, and our being in one place? Meditation. Meditation can be anything. It could be coloring. Meditation could be a walk. It could be journaling. Anything that gets us to focus and gets us to connect with ourselves. The other things will be something like gaming. We go back to play. That's a basic human need, that we are able to play again. That's why the kids love the games. If you want to teach your kids something, do it as a game. And we get attracted to that ourselves because we remember a time when we were not disrupted by the linear thinking of education. So I think that's probably most of what we have. We want to just talk a little bit more about CryptoChicks. We'll take maybe less than 30 seconds. So the clicker, yeah. You know, we don't have the clicker.
Okay, we don't have a clicker, but very
so
quickly.
So they have the clicker back there. But we could talk a little bit about CryptoChicks.
So who are the CryptoChicks? We are, thank you very much. We're a passionate group of women, girls, and men who support us in everything we do. This is our husbands, our partners, and our sons. We are passionate volunteers, and we are a non-for-profit organization, and our goal is to bring and empower more women into the blockchain and AI technology space and empower women and create the economic advantages for them. We are also have been quickly growing into the global organization. We have representation in Canada, US, Bahamas, Switzerland, Australia, Kazakhstan, and we are constantly looking to expand. We run hackathons and educational events, and we want to talk to you briefly about our upcoming events.
So what we have coming next, if we can have the clicker go forward, is that we have the hackathon in Toronto. I went last year. It was off the charts. I took my daughter. She didn't think it was off the charts initially, but she got in there. We have a developer track, $10,000 in prizes. It's close and personal. Family Day, bring the kids. We need to break conferences, bring the kids to these conferences so they know what their future is all about. And the next event is going to be in the Bahamas, where I'm from, 23rd through the 25th of August. And that event is going to be held at Windsor School, going back to school where the kids are. We're taking it to where they are. And that's going to be at Albany, the Albany campus. And then the last slide just tells you how to get in touch with us. We can just go to the last slide. And this is how you can get in touch with us. We're the CryptoChicks, and thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
And if you're interested in getting our events, come and talk to us. We have a special discounts.
Definitely. Bye.
Thank you for your attention.
Bye.